My name is Megan Rosenblum. I'm Associate Director for Collection Resources at the University of Southern California's Norris Medical Library. In sort of ancient medical history, there was a guy named Galen, and he sort of wrote the books on medicine and said basically, here is all of medicine that you need to know, that's all you need to know, and everyone said okay for about 1,000 years. And then in the 1500s, a guy named Andreas Vesalius started to do dissections with actual human cadavers, which were very hard to come by at the time. As the rules started to relax, some people, like Andreas Vesalius, took it upon themselves to sort of check up the Galenic text and the cadavers and sort of compare notes and realize that there were a lot of things that were very different. And so Vesalius sort of opened the doors for modern medical study and anatomical knowledge by actually looking at a human cadaver.
My name is Mike Snow, and I'm a PhD and professor at the university here at the med school. Been doing this for 43 years, teaching human anatomy to medical students. There's something about an anonymous individual that is lying before you on a table that's dead, and you're now going to have this intimate relationship with this person for 9 months. You're going to be taking them apart piece by piece.
My name's Natalie Hartman, and right now I'm thinking emergency medicine.
My name's Maddie Berg, and I'm currently thinking pediatric plastics.
My name is Michael Lindbrand, and I have absolutely no idea. Nervous, because I don't think I've ever seen a dead body before the first day of gross anatomy. So I had a lot of mixed feelings. There's a lot of nervous energy, I feel like, that first day.
I think it's probably important to talk about what it's set up like on the first day, especially. All of the bodies are face down and their heads have been wrapped, and you don't actually see the patient's faces until you have to do the head and neck dissection. Even then, when you do expose the faces, heads are shaved, eyebrows are shaved. It doesn't look so much like the person would have.
My group, we kind of became comfortable as a very slow process. We started out with the back, kind of a nondescript piece of the body, and you keep most of the body covered. And then as the year went on, we were exposing, there's an arm, and then we were asked to flip the body over, and then I think it just kind of, we slowly saw more of our body, and then by the end of the year, when we did head and neck, that was kind of another little bit of like easing into it, like, this is a person's face.
It kind of really gives them a personality, in my eyes, and that unveiling the face was a little bit uneasy for me.
So when I started doing lectures about the history of sourcing bodies, inevitably the question would come up, well, what are you going to do with your body? So I decided I wanted to be part of that process, that I dedicate my life as a medical librarian to helping with medical education, to teach medical students. And to me, it seemed poetic to also spend my death in a useful way teaching medical students.
Our guy was definitely sort of big in real life, so he always had big muscles, good nerves, and it was a source of pride for our group. We called him Admiral Victor, and we're like, he's going to be on the test. He's got such good structures.
When people would be reviewing stuff on our body, I felt like this really personal, like, this is our donor. Like, we were just kind of making sure that nobody messed it up or anything, and kind of keeping a watchful eye over it.
I think this was our first real patient. Even though they weren't alive, it was the first person that trusted you with all of the sort of intimate details of their body.
It was definitely my favorite class, even though it was probably the most difficult class and the one I had to work hardest at.
I've had students that go and put a rose on the body on the last day of school, or they write notes. And the other thing that we do formally here is have a donor appreciation ceremony at the end of the year. It's really focused on students writing poetry or writing an essay reflecting their experience with their donor, and it's incredibly powerful.
I think it was really important for everyone who was there. It was important for the students to kind of have that closure moment. The family members have closure and get to see that their family member did something very generous to help these students learn how to be doctors. And for me as a future donor, it was amazing to see, like, well, should the time come at some point, then there's this really sort of beautiful little ritual that takes place, and isn't that a great thing?
I'm sorry you passed away before we could meet. You never knew my face, yet strangely, I now know your feet. Regardless of whether our paths crossed or did not, I want to thank you. I'm sorry you laid in that cold room while the AC blew air as cold as snow. Yet, as you persevered, I learned anatomy from head to toe. But, donor, before I end, I have a confession to make. Day 1, I saw you as a person who had died. 1 year later, I treated you like stuff that never cried. In order to learn, I had to forget you. All forms of human relationship I needed to undo. So I am sorry. I'm sorry for willingly forgetting your humanity, for taking but never giving in all my vanity. So I promise you are the first and last human being I will ever dehumanize. I'm sorry for stabbing your heart. Thank you for convicting mine.